Hello, I'm the Gypsy, and I'll be your host for Wichita Sunset. This is going to be a very, very interesting painting that we're going to do together because it is probably one of the fastest paintings that we've done to date. This is a really straightforward, simple painting, but what makes it extremely interesting is there are different layers of color going over each other that will give this different tones. It's quite an effect. When you finish your painting and you put it into the light, you're going to see what I mean. We'll try and capture some of it here on the video. I want you to be aware, however, I hope you printed out the picture, the example photo that you're going to use to do this. Look at your example photo. It does not look what you're seeing on the screen right now. What you're seeing on the screen right now looks really dark brown through here and up through here. There's actually blues in here that we're going to be capturing. So please have your example photo printed off. What you're seeing in the video is not what is actually in the photo. You have got to have that photo in order to understand what we're doing here and how we're doing it. Now, we just went through this really bad cold snap across the United States. I mean, here in Kansas where we're at, it got to 20 degrees below zero. Right now, the last thing any of us want to think about is winter. That's why we're doing Wichita Sunset, because Wichita Sunset was actually a photograph that I took on Memorial Day weekend back in, oh gosh, I think it was like 2007 or something like that. Anyway, it's more summery, it's more warm, okay, than it is cold. So let's get away from the cold for a while. Let's do Wichita Sunset. Now, I'm going to show you some things that you're going to need, very important things. So, first and foremost, what you're going to need is you're going to need a ruler. Okay? This is an 18-inch ruler. I like using an 18-inch. You can use a 12-inch. Just make sure when you do the measurement I'm going to tell you about that you come in a little ways off the corners of your canvas. All right? You're going to need a pencil, just a number 2. Just regular number 2 pencil, like you used in school. You're going to need one of those. You're going to need a Sharpie, black Sharpie. Make sure you have that. You will need a bottle of nutmeg brown. This is craft paint. So you'll need a bottle of nutmeg brown craft paint. You're going to need a bottle of either chocolate brown or burnt umber craft paint. You can use burnt umber. I like chocolate brown, so for this one we're going to be using that. You'll need some sort of blending medium, either in the bottle like this, and it will say floating or blending on it, or I prefer the tube. You'll need a tube like this. This is to help keep some of your stuff fluid while we're working on this, because you're going to have to keep it fluid, and you're also going to have to work fast. Word of warning here. You're going to have to work fast to get some of these blends going, okay? So be prepared to do that. All right. You're going to need frog tape, green frog tape. Don't use the blue paint tape. Use green frog tape or drafting tape. Those are the only two you want to use. You're going to need a round brush right here. This is a number 8 round. You'll need that. You're going to need a fan brush. Just a number 3 fan brush. That's all that is. You're going to need a liner, small liner. This is a flat liner, okay? Number 2 flat liner. And you are going to need, right here, this is a number 1 round liner, okay? So those are what you're going to need on those types of brushes. You're also going to need a 1-inch brush, and you're going to need, if you can find it, an 1.5 inch angle brush. This angle brush for what we're doing is going to be the best thing to use. If you can't find an angle brush, flat one is fine, but you want to make sure it has soft bristles. It needs soft bristles for what we're doing today. All right. Now, paint-wise, what you're going to need is you're going to need burnt umber. Very important. You're going to need orange. You're going to need titanium white. You will need dark titanium white. I recommend that you go get the dark titanium white. Don't try to mix this, okay? Go out and grab the dark titanium white. You can mix it, but it's not going to be the same. You're going to need black. You're going to need phthalo blue. You're going to need yellow medium or deep yellow, same thing, and you're going to need red ochre. Those are your paints you're going to need. You're also going to need a cup of water. You got to have that for rinsing and for thinning down the paints. You will need a palette. This is my favorite palette. If you've joined me for other painting videos, you know I love this. This is a acrylic cutting board. You can go out and buy an expensive palette if you want. I prefer this cheap, couple of bucks. Okay. You can also use paper plate if you want to do that. Some people do. They use a paper plate or a styrofoam plate, whatever your preference is. But you're going to need some form of palette. That's important. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to measure this off. We need to split this canvas in two. It needs to be half and half. So, what you're going to do, this is a 16 by 20 inch canvas board. Okay? 16 by 20 inch canvas board. What you're going to do is you're going to split it in half. So, if it's 16 inches, that means we're going to come down 8 inches. Let me find my inch side here. And I'm going to measure down 7. Oh, did I go? I went from the wrong direction. Oh, look at me. Okay. So I'm going to go to 8 inches. Go ahead and double check it from this side because I like this ruler, but I don't trust it sometimes. So let's double check it from this side. Now, see, it's not showing 8 inches there. This is definitely a 16-inch board. So let's try that again. Make sure you get on the mark. I want to go 8 inches. That's better. I already know it's better. Come over here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go 8 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I'm just going to draw my line across. Probably should have come down through the center. Okay. Because this is only 18-inch ruler and it's 20-inch canvas. Duh. My mom raised ugly children. She didn't raise smart ones. I mean, she raised, yeah, whatever. Anyway, I'm going to come right across here, like so. Just very lightly with your pencil. Just go lightly. You don't have to go hard. Okay. So I split the canvas in two. 8 inches, 8 inches. That's your first step. Get rid of your ruler and pencil. You no longer need them. That's the only thing you were going to use them for. All right. Flip your canvas over. So on the back side of the canvas, you'll notice that there's this little box here. That's called your biography area. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your Sharpie, a little Sharpie, and you're going to write the name of the painting, which is, well, mine's Wichita Sunset. You can name yours whatever you want. If you want to name it Wichita Sunset, that's fine. If you got another name for it, please feel free to go ahead and do it. Whatever you want to name it. So Wichita Sunset, name of my painting. The artist is me, J.A. George. I'm also known as the GYPSY. And the medium is going to be acrylic. The date will be 1/4/2023. And my signature, yeah, that's my lousy signature right there. That's the one that I do if I'm writing quickly on something. Let me straighten that out a little bit. That's kind of funky. There, that's better. Little. Then I'm going to sign the GYPSY. And the place, which is Topeka, Kansas, where I made this at. In the USA. And that's my biography. You can You can write other things. If you want to tell a story about your painting or what have you, you got all these areas here to do it with. But your main biography is this. This tells everybody that looks at the back of the painting anything that they want to know about the painting. It tells them the name, who created it, when it was created, what the medium is, everything, where it was created at. So, do that. Now, remember, you have two sides of the canvas. This is a cotton acrylic canvas, and of course you have this back side where the biography's at. What you are going to do, so that your canvas does not move around. If you are doing this on a craft table like I am, please do this. If you're doing it on an easel, you don't have to worry about it. But if you're doing it on a craft table, take some of your green frog tape, fold it over, and put it on the corners. This way, when you flip your canvas over and you put it back down on the table, it won't move around the table as you're doing some of these big brush strokes you're going to be doing on here in a second. So let's get this on here. Alright, you can get rid of your frog tape now. You will not need it again. You can also put up your Sharpie. Alright, so I'm going to flip this over and get it placed down and press it down. Alright, we're ready to start painting. So, oh, I forgot to tell you, you need a little container to put your craft paint into. A couple little containers. These are just applesauce. Can't even talk. Applesauce containers. They work great for things like this. Just some sort of container. So I'm going to go ahead and get my nutmeg brown. Squirt me some of it in there. And I'm going to get my chocolate bar brown. Or if you have burnt umber, use that. That's fine. Okay. Now, I have those in there. Let me minimize myself and we'll get started on this painting. Take myself right up there where I'm out of the way of everything. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 1-inch brush. I'm going to go ahead and dip it in my water. Going to kind of push some of the water off of it back into the cup. You take this nutmeg brown, starting at the top. I'm just going to work it back and forth. Now, remember what I said, you're going to have to work fast. Don't dilly-dally around. Don't walk away from the canvas. If you can't stay at this canvas right now, don't even start this painting. Just coat that canvas with that nutmeg brown. Back and forth. Now when you get down to that center line where you put that pencil mark, do not paint over the top of the pencil mark. Kind of leave that open. You need to know where that center's at. So leave that pencil mark open. But I need to get some more nutmeg brown for the bottom. These little bottles, they're like 54 cents, I think I paid for the bottle. They're cheap. You can pretty well afford to just, use it all if you have to. Isn't like the craft paints are real expensive. They're really cheap. Heck, you could do a whole painting with craft paint if you want to. Wouldn't highly recommend it, but you can do it. I've done it before. When I was a poor boy trying to make ends meet and trying to take care of my family and didn't have much money coming in, craft paint was like the cheapest thing I could buy at that time. I think it was like 15 cents for a bottle of it. And so I could paint, that's what I'd do. I'd get the craft paint. Okay, so once you coat your canvas in that craft paint, once you come back with your burnt umber or your chocolate brown or whatever dark brown you're using, and what I want you to do is this. Notice I just came in a little ways, right? And then I work down on the sides. Work down on the sides so it slowly just dissipated. Do the same thing at the bottom. Come across at the bottom and work your way up. Just like that. Do it again over on the other side. Like I said, If you don't have time to do this right now, don't start it, because you need your paint wet in order to do this properly. Okay, grab that angle brush, that dry angle brush. What I want you to do is I want you to pat this out. Do it over here. Just pat that out with that angle brush. And same at the bottom. Pat it out. Do it off the other side. Pat it out. Now, come back at your top and work back across. Do it again. Just keep going. Work it across, back and forth, just like that. This is going to create some real interesting tones underneath your other paint. Do the same at the bottom. Come across, come back across, work it out. Just pat it out. Just like that. Just pat it out all the way across. Okay, once you have that done, clean that brush. You need to grab a cloth here. Clean that brush out. And dry it. Make sure you get that brush as dry as you can possibly get it. If you're in a position to do it, hit it up against something a couple of times. That'll help dry it out. Lay that off to one side. Grab your 1-inch brush, clean it, and dry it. This one you don't want as dry as the other one, but you do want to try to get some of that brown paint out of it. Okay. Lay this up here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my phthalo blue. Get me some phthalo blue here. And I'm going to get my dark titanium. I'll use my 1-inch brush. I want to pull a little bit of that phthalo blue and a lot more of the dark titanium over into it. Okay. Mix that up pretty good. I'm going to come in here. I'll brush this across from both directions. Brush it down. Like so. I think I'll bring it across a little bit more here. Start working it right down in there. Just like that. Work back and forth. Just bring it back and forth, just like that. Back and forth. Alright, once you do that, come back in with that brush you dried out a minute ago, your angle brush. Once you pat this out, you're going to do small pats here. Just small. Come about halfway across. Do it again. Small pats. Come back from the other side, pat it out, halfway across. Right through there. Just like that. Okay, once you get that done, set that brush to one side. Once you grab some of your orange, get a little bit of that orange. Without cleaning this brush, once you grab some of that orange, once you brush it in here, do the same down here, brush it across. Brush it across. Then work it up into the top. Slowly go up into the top. Just work it back and forth. Back and forth. Just like that. Just like that. Use that angle brush to diffuse that color together up there. Then you brought that orange back up into that color. So now you have this really nice layer that's going on in the sky here. You got this orange and you got this layer going on right there. We're going to do basically kind of the same thing down below. So what you're going to do, except this is going to be a little bit different, you're going to do this a little darker. You come in here, grab a little more of that phthalo blue, and mix it in with the dark titanium that you already have. Just about like that. That's about the color you want right there. Then start at the bottom, cross halfway, go across halfway again. Just start working it. Just working up. Just work it up. When you get about halfway up, right about in there, diffuse it again. Halfway across, halfway across. Yep, I got a wayward bristle there. Okay. Just like that. Set that brush to one side. Grab some more of your orange. And without cleaning the brush, let's try to push it down there. Without cleaning the brush, work up here. Work that orange through there. Just like so. Once you get that orange worked across there, then start working down. Just like that. Alright, next thing I want you to do is I want you to grab some of this medium yellow. Without cleaning the brush, I want you to just go right in here and just do a couple of quick swipes. Just like that. Just right in that area right there. Now clean your brush. Once you get your brush clean, I want you to blend this in. Brush is wet. Blend that back up and in. Do the same thing down here. Blend this in. Make another line. Make another line. And blend it in. Blend this in. Now, once you have that done, I want you to start at the bottom of your halfway point and work up. Go back and forth. Back and forth, just like that, until you get all the way to the top. Just work it all the way up to the top. This is what I'm telling you. If you can't do this all at one time, do not walk away from this. Because this has got to remain wet while you're doing this. Then work down from your halfway point, work it all the way down. Just work all the way down to the bottom. Just like that. Alright. Once you get that done, see, there's some things you need to watch for here. We ended up with. If you end up with inlines, go ahead and pull back across real quick. You don't want any places where you can see where you picked up the brush. So if you end up seeing that, like I'm seeing on mine, just work it back again. Make sure you go one direction and just get all that out of there. Alright. Clean your brush out. Set it to one side. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put in the trees right here. Okay? So all you're going to do is you're going to grab your fan brush, and we're going to grab the permanent black. Put me some on the palette here. Now I want to layer these trees. You can't see it in the print off, but in the original photograph, these trees are layered. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to layer these trees out. So you know where your halfway line is at, right? So what you're going to do, using the edge of the fan brush, create layers. We're going to create layers. We're going to come up in here. Just using the edge of the fan brush, create some layers. Using that black. Work your way towards the center, working down, and create that layer. And do the same from the other side. You want to kind of pay attention to what's going on with the shapes of the trees, because they're all going to be different. They're not going to be the same. So you want to pay attention to those shapes and get as close as you can to what the photograph is showing you. Create those layers in there. Create the layers. Come in from the bottom, and you want to duplicate, but you want it a little bit shorter. So kind of pay attention to how you created your top. And you want to try to make the bottom look as close to what was going on top as you possibly can. Come in there and just kind of duplicate that in. Gonna come through here. You can see it's a little bit shorter than what it is on top because it's a reflection. It's a reflection in the water. This photo was taken during a Bait of Kansas Memorial Day rally in Wichita. It's taken right next to this real pretty little lake, and I saw it, and I'm like, you know what? I gotta get a picture of that. That's a pretty lake. So I did. I knew I was going to do something with it someday. Didn't know what I was going to do with it, but kind of in the back of my mind, I thought, you know, that'd make a nice painting one of these days. And here we are today, and we're making a nice painting out of it. Okay. Once you get that done, come back in with your fan brush and kind of join those edges together. Just come along that edge right there and join that edge. And do the same here. You don't want to come totally completely together. You just want to kind of come through there and get really, really close to join that edge. Just like that. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to come through here and we are going to take your fan brush. I want you to lightly brush this down. Lightly. Stay really light. Slightly brush it down. Lightly. Just like that. Now grab some of your phthalo blue without cleaning out your fan brush. Come right through the center. Using that phthalo blue, come right through the center. Do the same from the other side. When you're almost all the way to the center, grab a little bit of that orange. Pull that through. A little bit of the orange, pull it through. Just like so. Hold down. And blend that back. Now, you have your top tree line, you have your reflection in the water. Next thing you're going to do here, I want to round this off a little bit. I think I want to round that a little bit more too. Okay. Next thing you want to do is you want to create an impression of the trees. Now the way we're going to do that we're going to take our burnt umber, get a little bit of burnt umber, going to clean that fan brush out. Grab the burnt umber, and then I'm just going to kind of touch a little bit in here with the burnt umber. Just right, just a little bit through there. Just want to touch it a little bit. I don't want it very bright. I don't want it very stark. I just want to be able to see that there's some different definition in here. We're just going to come up through here. A little bit dancing, playing with shadow and light right here is what we're doing. Just like so. Okay. Grab a little bit of the burnt umber. I want you to just lightly brush it down into the bottom. Slightly brush it down in there. Lightly brush it down. Pull it down in there like so. Okay, once you have that pulled in, once you get your red ochre, once you clean that fan brush again, once you get some red ochre on your palette, grab a little bit of red ochre. I want you to just kind of pat. Just kind of pat the top of your trees. Just pat them. Work them down. Just pat them down. Work back into that burnt umber. Just work it back into that burnt umber. Just like so. Then lightly pull some of that burnt umber back down into your reflection. Come over on your other side, do the same thing. Just kind of work the top of the trees. Work the top of your trees. Get them all worked out. And then work them down. Just like that. Let's work those out. Then pull down into your reflection. From your edge, pull up a little bit, just lightly brush it up, just a little bit. Lightly brush it up, just a little bit. Just like so. Look at your trees when you get that done. And if you see some places where you think you can add something a little different, go ahead. But I'm going to caution you here. Remember, this is at sunset, so you're not going to have a whole lot of definition. That's not the idea here. Okay? The idea is to capture the sunset, which we're going to do next. Get rid of your fan brush. You're done with that. Now, I want you to come about where the center of your canvas is. Center of my canvas is right here. It's right in this area right here. And that's where I'm going to capture my sun at. So I'm going to get some titanium white. And all I'm going to do, so I'm going to come right here where I know the center of my canvas is. I'll put some titanium white in there. Just kind of brush it in there using that round brush. Get us a little sun shape going here. A little round shape right there. Then, you notice that the white's only at the top. It's not down here. Then I'm going to use my little round liner. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to brush out from there. I'm going to brush this out a little bit. I'm going to come back in. Set that to one side. I'm going to come back in with my white again. I'll put it back in the center there. We're going to build layers here. And I'll come in, I'll grab my white again. We'll keep building this layer. I'm going to keep layering this out. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of my orange, come right in here, and put some of that orange in there. Just right at the bottom. That's the only place where I want that orange. I'm going to come in. Well, got a little paint on there. Hate that when that happens, but we can correct it. Let me show you how. We got to get that off there while it's wet. So we're just going to come through here. We're going to do this like so. We're going to dab it. Grab a little bit of the burnt umber to mix into it. And we'll just blend it all back again. Just like so. And just a little bit more burnt umber right here. Sometimes you have to make repairs to your canvas. You always want everything to go as perfect as possible, but it don't always go perfect as possible, no matter how hard you try. So you just have to make the repairs. Sometimes, without meaning for it to happen, you sometimes add a new dimension to your canvas, which I think I've done here. I'm going to add some more of this chocolate brown in here. Kind of like how this is looking down here. I'll just work that back and forth a couple of times. Yep, I actually like how that looks. So we're going to leave that alone. We're going to leave that just like that. Alright. Going to come back in here with my titanium white. I'm going to add the titanium white back in again. Right there. And I'm now going to layer up. And in. Work it all the way around. Just like that. Now, using my round brush, I'm going to pat this out. Grab some yellow. I'm going to pat that yellow in there using that round brush. Pat that yellow out. right there, we're going to let that dry for a minute, and then we'll come back to it. We'll let that dry. We'll come back to it. I want to get some of the yellow down in here while it's drying. So we'll just kind of tap in there. Just going to tap some yellow down in there. Just kind of tap it in there. Just like so. Come in and grab some of your orange. Tap your oranges on the edge. Like that. Just tap it in there. Bring it up into the yellow. Tap it into the yellow. Kind of tap it out a little bit. Just keep tapping that out. Take your 1-inch brush. We keep hitting the edge of this canvas, which isn't good. Try to avoid doing that. A little blue. Because this canvas is so wet, it's easy to do what you've seen me doing, which you shouldn't do. Anyway, take your 1-inch brush, clean it out. Try it as best you can. Get it just as dry as you possibly can. Tap this out with that 1-inch. Just like that. Okay, we're at a point where we need to let this canvas rest for a minute. It needs to dry before we can go on any further. So, what I want you to do is just take a break, go grab yourself something to drink, wait about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we're going to come back in and we're going to finish this up. We'll finish our sunset. We know where our sunset's going now. We've diffused it out there. We'll go in, we'll finish that up. The canvas will be done. So take a break, and we'll be back in a moment. Okay, now that you've let your canvas dry a little bit, we're going to come in and we're going to finish up this bad boy. So I want you to get your round brush, grab your titanium white, and do your sun. Just like that. Then, without cleaning the brush, I want you to grab some of the yellow. I want you to go right on the outside edge of the sun. Come around just like so. All the way around, just like that. Now I want you to grab some of your orange without cleaning the brush. And I want you to come down at the bottom, just like this. And then I want you to go out here on these edges, like here, right in here, just a little bit, just kind of touch it right through there, touch it right up through here, like so. Just touch those right through there, like that. All right, once you get that done, come down here, again without cleaning the brush, just kind of touch a little bit right down in here. And right over in here, just like that. Now, once you have that done, take and clean out this brush. Same brush. Just clean it out, dry it. Then I want you to tap this out. Just tap it, just like that. Tap this edge. Tap that yellow out, just like that. Just tap it out a little bit. You want to diffuse it. Tap down. Just like so. Tap this out. Come through here, tap that out. And tap down this edge here. Just tap it out. Once you have all that tapped out, I want you to grab a little bit of the orange. I want you to come back down in here, and I want you to touch the edge right there with that orange. Just like so. Wet down your brush a little. Just moisten it. Then tap that out. Kind of blend it down is what you're doing. You're blending it down. Wet your brush a little bit more. You want to blend this down. Wet your brush a little more. Blend it down some more. Just like that. Come up in here. Blend this up. Blend that up. Blend this down. And blend that up. Just keep tapping it. Let your brush down. Blend it up. Now if it starts looking a little thin, go ahead and grab a little more of the yellow. Put some yellow back in there. Then just tap it up. Blend it up. Just blend it up. Just keep tapping until it taps out. I want a little more yellow right in this area right here, so I'm just going to grab a little bit of yellow, just a little bit. I'm just going to tap it in there. I'm going to tap it up. We keep going on a curve. See how I'm doming that? Kind of making a dome there as I tap it out. Tap it out. Just tap it out. Keep tapping it. keep tapping it out. Just keep going on your curve. Just keep following your curve. Just tap it out. Just tap it out. Okay. Come back in with a little bit of titanium white there in the center. Fill your center up. Now, once you have that done, tap out the edge just a little bit. Keep tapping it. Then take a little bit that's on your brush and tap down in here. You got a little bit on your brush. You might want to just grab a little bit, maybe just a touch of your yellow. You want to lighten this up right down in here. Just like so. Just lighten that up. See, I'm just taking, you can see it, there's just a little bit of yellow on there. I just barely touched it. I'm tapping this out now. Tapping that out. And I'm doming it just like above. I'm just making a dome here. Just like that. Grab a little bit more of the yellow. I'm just going to keep tapping it until we have that nice little blend going. Grab just a little bit of titanium white, not much. I'll tap some right through here. I want to lighten this up just a little bit through here. So I'll tap this out. All right. Got a little bit of the yellow. That's a little too bright for me. I want a little orange in there too. I'm gonna grab a little orange. Lightly touch the orange through there. Tap that orange out. Just tap the orange out. I hope you all had a very wonderful and safe New Year's Eve. As we move into the new year, I will be doing more tutorials. Just keep watching Facebook and you'll see when I announce them. Okay. Now, I like this here, but I need to blend it back a little bit. It's a little too stark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up a little bit of yellow right here. Work this yellow right through here like so. And tap this out. Work this back. Do the same over here. That little yellow right through there. Work this back. I need a little yellow right in here. Just a touch. Just tap that out. Now I'll grab a little bit of my orange. Tap that orange out right through here. Darken that up slightly. Do the same right through here. Grab a little more orange. I'm going to come through here with the orange. Just going to tap that through there like so. Darken that up a little bit. Tap through here. There we go. Blend that all out. Now we'll come back up in here. A little bit of the titanium white, just white touch. I'm going to touch right through here like so. And I'm going to tap this out. Just like that. Just tap it out. Just that dome shape. We'll grab a little bit of this orange. We'll come right in here. We'll tap right up through there. Blend it back over. Do the same over on the other side. I'm going to come right through here. I'm going to tap some orange in there like so. We'll blend that back over just by tapping. This is with that round brush. You're just using that round brush. You're using very little color here. And you're kind of tapping it out. And a little more orange. Tap through there. Come down through here. You see how we're starting to get that really nice sunset effect. Little white, little yellow. I'm going to tap this out. Tap it back down towards the sun. We'll tap this out a little bit. Oh, I gotta get some orange on out. Grab some orange here. Small touch. I'm gonna tap it out. It out through here. Just a very little bit of orange on the brush. Very little bit of orange. I want to blend this out a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet the brush down. I'm going to dry it just a little bit. I'm going to come right on the edge. I'm going to tap just like I've been doing to blend that out a little more. I'm going to keep tapping. Come up through the center here. tap it out. Okay. Now that I'm up in there like that, I'm going to grab my 1-inch brush, get most of the moisture out of it, as much as I can get out. I'm going to lightly brush this back and forth. We're going to blend that back. Just lightly brush it back and forth, just like that. Just like that. Now come down here, do the same thing again. Lightly brush it back and forth, just like so. Now, I want you to take your small flat liner, grab a little bit of the orange on it, just a little tiny touch of orange. Once you come here on the edge, I want you to kind of touch this a little bit, right on the edge, down on this bottom edge, like so. Just like that. Then I want you to put in some sun rays coming down. Don't have to be much. A little tiny bit. Grab some of your yellow. A little tiny bit of your yellow. Blend back over your orange. Just a little tiny bit of the yellow. Blend back over the orange. Get some sun rays going there. A little bit. Once you do that, grab some of your titanium white, come down in here, kind of blend it back out from your edge right there. Just blend down. Blend it out. Just blend it out. Just bring it out there. once you get those little rays going, once you're happy with where they're at, what you're going to do next is you're going to soften all that. Let me finish my rays here. Okay. I take my round brush. I'm going to soften this. Now, last thing I'm going to do, I got to get a little more titanium white here on this part of it. Tube's almost done. Come back in here again. Put my sun in. You can't see it very well in the video, but it's, trust me, it's in there. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow around its edge. Work that yellow out. Now, I'm not real happy right now. This is part of being an artist. Sometimes you do something that you don't really like, and you got to go in and correct it. So I'm going to correct this. The way I'm going to correct this, because I'm not pleased with this, is I'm going to get some water. This is still wet. I'm going to dilute this down with the water. Just like that. Then I'm going to come in here. I'm going to take some of my black. I'm going to work it back down into here. Work it back up on the other side. Like so. And work that right through there like that. I'm going to come back in with my red ochre. Just going to touch that edge. Ever so lightly. Do the same over here. I'm just going to touch that edge. Just ever so lightly. Just like that. I'm going to clean this brush out. Grab a little bit of orange. Gonna work some orange up into this. Clean my brush out. Soften that edge. And I'm a lot happier with that. Down here, grab a little bit of orange. Just work some of it right down into there. Hold this down a little bit. Clean my brush out. Grab a little bit of that yellow. Pull that yellow down here like so. A little orange. Pull that down. I'm going to pat this out. Just a touch of yellow right here. Pat it in there. Pat that out. All right. Now, we're going to take our little liner brush, grab a little bit of white. We're going to lightly put a line right across there like so. See that blue picking up underneath that we put in there a while ago? Do the same over here. See that blue kind of sneaking through there. I'm going to wet this brush down a little. going to put a little ripple in the water. Just a little tiny ripple in your water. I'll grab just a little bit of yellow here. To help a little bit with our ripple. See that right there? And we just work the ripple out. One last thing to do and we can call this good. Yeah. Hope if I grab the right brush here. There it is. Okay. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to define our tree line a little bit better. All you're going to do is grab that little round liner brush. Kind of touch the edge of your tree. Don't want to do it much, you just a little bit. You just want to kind of touch in there a little bit. Kind of darken it up slightly. Just touch the edge of that tree. Excuse me. Come in here and darken up your edges just a little bit. Let's find where your trees are at. You can see them in there. Just darken them up. Let's figure out where the edges of your trees are. Add a little darkness in there. Add a little darkness in. Just go in. You can see them. If you look closely where your brush marks are at that you did a while ago with the fan brush, you can see where the edges of your trees are. Just go in there, darken them up a little bit. Darken them up. Once you get them darkened up, there's only one last thing to do. Finish darkening those up right there. Okay. If you're happy with your trees, which I'm happy with mine, last thing that you have to do is just sign your name. And that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to sign the name and we're going to call this one good. So, coming right down here. Yeah, I'll have a little better. I'm going to use my red ochre to do this with. Like I always say, remember, your name is as much a part of this artwork as everything else you've done in it. J A and G. Put 23 on here. I started to say 22. Put 23 on here. First painting of 2023 for me. And we call that good. All right. There it is. There's Wichita Sunset. Be sure to stay tuned to the end of this video, and you'll be able to see a photograph of the finished piece. Looks a lot different than it does on the video. Let me expand myself out here where I can talk to you. All right. Oh, didn't quite make it. There we go. All right. Well, there it is. First painting of 2023, Wichita Sunset. I hope you enjoyed doing it with me. You saw a couple places where I made some mistakes and how I corrected those mistakes. Those are important for you because that will help teach you how to correct a mistake when you make it. Mistakes happen when you're doing your painting. The difference is not to get frustrated, just to go in there and correct that mistake and make it right. That's all you have to do. Like I said, I know it can be frustrating when it happens. It frustrates me. But the trick is just to go in, correct it, and then move on and finish your painting out. Bob Ross used to say happy accidents. I don't believe there's happy accidents. I believe there's mistakes, and I believe you need to learn how to correct those mistakes when you make them. I showed you a couple of ways to correct mistakes with this one. That's all there is to it. Be sure, if you haven't done it already, to join our Facebook group, The Artist Life Creations. And I want to see your paintings when you do them. Put your paintings up there. Let me see where you're at on them. Really enjoyed to see your artwork. Also, be sure to visit our Instagram page, which is Artist Alley Studio and Gallery. And it's at Artist Alley Studio, A-L-Y. Artist, A-L-Y Studio. We're on Twitter. I don't know how much longer we're going to be on Twitter, but you can find us on there under Artist Alley Studio and Gallery. Facebook, definitely, we're there. Visit the website, www.artist-alley.net. We have even more tutorials on there and paintings for sale and everything else. So, until we meet again and we do another painting tutorial, this is your friendly neighborhood gypsy saying thank you for joining me. Thank you for allowing me to show you a few tips and tricks there. And most of all, just thank you